All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, to the men on the highways and the byways that are pushing out this word in truth and sincerity, and to the remnant men, women, and children of the elect. To you all, I say Shalom. My name is Ahmawan, Ahyash, and I'm back with another lesson through the power and spread of Yahawashi, and Lord willing, this is edifying. I wanted to do a response to the elder Apostle Gabar, not only to this video, and the video that he did was basically a land back, so to speak, off of the actual event that took place at the end of camp on Saturday, where, at the lineup, as we are all gathered before we end camp, the elder Apostle Gabar, he posed a question to the camp, to the brothers, to the body. And this question was, as you can see here, do you really understand why you have been called to this ministry? All right. And obviously, and what he mentioned in the video, and I implore you all, if you come across this video, to watch the video that Elder Apostle Gabar did. What he said in the video is that when he asked the question to us, he saw a lot of, I guess, confused faces, or not so sure faces, right? And I think what happens sometimes is when the elder apostles pose certain questions, you're trying to find the right answer, making sure that, you think about your answer, and make sure it ties into, this truth, and ties into the scriptures. It could be backed up by scriptures, and there could be a little bit of pressure, and I think that's what happens sometimes when apostles ask questions to the brothers. It doesn't just flow out all the time. It may take a second to ponder on the answer. And even sometimes the simplest of questions, and I'm not saying this is a simple question, because I think brothers, given just the right amount of time to think about it and to give an answer, would give a solid answer that's backed up by scripture, and brothers can really attest to why they are in this ministry. And one of the answers that got sort of blurted out was from the brother Barak Gabar, the priest Barak Gabar. He said salvation, right? And that's one of the things you think of when you are asked a question like that. Why you've been called to this? Of course, we're here for salvation. We've been called in this to be delivered. We've been called in this to serve. Serve Yahawashi. I did a lesson, I think, last week that was entitled "Servants Serve." Okay, and finding our purpose here. What Yahawashi and in his church and in his ministry, we were put here to serve Yahawashi. We were put here to be a sacrifice for the elect. That's what the scriptures say: present your bodies as a living sacrifice. We go out in the highways and the byways and we present our bodies as a living sacrifice. There's many ways to sort of answer the question. And then also there's predestination, right? There's, we've been predestinated to go out in the highways and the byways and to serve the Lord in this manner, as a body, as a church. So And I think all of those things actually tie into one another whether it comes to salvation, serving the Lord, predestination, you know, being a prophet, you know, being called as a prophet. Like these things all can be sort of lumped into one answer, to be honest. But it makes you think. You know, Apostle Gabar's question makes you think, and it makes you, what he mentioned in the video was examining yourself. And that's super, super heavy, especially coming from the apostles, man. Like when the apostles speak, man, you got to listen up. When they speak, you have to listen up. When they pose questions like this, you have to listen up, and you have to pay attention what the Spirit is trying to tell us. You know, the Passover is coming up. Obviously, you know, we know as it comes closer to the Passover, hey, the Lord starts getting rid of the leaven, right? And you don't want to be, none of us want to be a part of that leaven. You know, a little leaven, leaveneth the whole lump, right? And we want to be a part of the elect, man. That's why we're in this. We're in this to be a part of Yahawah's elect, to be chosen. Not only to be called, but to be chosen. And that's something the elder Apostle Tahar said right after elder Apostle Gabar's question. He said, let me ask y'all a question. He said, does everybody that get called into this truth, is everybody that's called in, is everybody a part of the elect that gets called into the truth? And brother was like, nah. Like, hell no. Nah. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, there's many men who get called to hear this word, to hear, you know, you know, the Spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are, you know, the children of Yahawah, right? We are Israel. And there's men who even go out in the highways and the byways and serve the Lord to a degree, but that doesn't necessarily, it's about enduring until the end. There's many men who come into the faith. There's many men who come into the to the ministry and have dropped off, you know. You know, but again, like Elder Apostle Gabar said, we have to examine ourselves, okay? And as far as scripture go, I want to start there. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. It says, examine yourselves, whether you be in the faith, all right? Because that's what we have to do. Prove your own selves. So we have to examine ourselves daily, right? As much as possible, you know, examine where we're at, examine, you know, again, what it means to be in this ministry. Are you being a good enough brother? Are you putting forth the effort to serve the Lord? Are you being diligent? Right? Are you sincere? Okay? Why are you a part of this? Count the cost. Because we are called to suffer. Right? This true. And Elder Apostle Gabar always says that. Again, when the apostles speak, man, you have to listen. We all have to listen. Elder Apostle Gabar always says, this truth is about suffering. Right? And the only way you can get through suffering is with the spirit of endurance, by enduring. Okay? So we have to constantly examine ourselves, whether we be in the faith, making sure we're being diligent, making sure we're putting forth a good effort, making sure we're sincere, praying to Yahawah to keep the Holy Spirit with us so we can do, you know, what we've been called to do. You know, the will of the Lord is what matters. You know, what we don't have our own will. Like it's not even a thing. You know, we're vessels for Yahawah's will to be done. Okay. Hey, that's another reason why we've been called into this, right? Another part of the answer. You know, we've been called as vessels to do the will of Yahawah, to be used as vessels for the will of the Lord to be done. You know, something else that Elder Apostle Gabar mentioned in his video was that, you know, one of the brothers had gave a small testimony about how he came in, and the elder Apostle Gabar in the video, he was saying how, it was a powerful testimony. He was moved by it. The fact that the brother was talking about, when he first came in, he first came across Comfy in the ICGJC, which is the same thing with my brother Rawai. The first camp that he came across was them. Okay. And then he introduced me, to this truth. And, that brother gave his testimony, and, he was, saying how things were rough for him. And, he used to sell drugs, and he was trying to he was looking for answers and all this different thing. And, he came across the truth, man. And there's more that he mentioned, but, we all have those moments, right, in our lives where we're coming up and we're searching for truth and we're searching for answers, trying to find our purpose. We all have that testimony, okay? And it made me think about my testimony, you know what I'm saying? Which, I've been kind of wanting to give a little bit of my testimony, how I came into the ministry, myself and my brother Rawai, and I guess this is a good time to do that. For myself, I had a lot of anxieties as a young man, trying to figure out, before coming into this truth, you're trying to figure out so-called success in this world, the pressures of what it looks like, what it sounds like, and thinking about getting older as the years go by and not meeting that expectation of what it looks like. You might be letting your family down, your girl down, or whatever the case, and you always had that level of high expectation for yourself, but you just really can't get there. You're trying to figure out what your purpose is. And I had those anxieties, in college, coming out of college, my years out of college, after I played ball in college. So, I always wanted to play professional ball, got injured, that didn't happen, and I was trying to figure out my way, started working, doing music and this, that, and the third. And that wasn't really it for me. And I was just, I had these anxieties, man. And even as a young boy, even before that, as a young boy, I used to pray the way I used to pray. In the bed, I used to pray, and I used to say exactly this. I used to say, God, I don't really know your name, but I know you're there. And I hope one day I would learn who, your name and who you are. Because the Jesus thing it didn't settle with me. That wasn't what my spirit didn't gravitate towards the Jesus thing. So I used to always pray as a young boy, I don't know your name. I used to say that all the time. I don't know your name, but I know you're there. And I used to pray. I used to pray for my family. I used to, and that's how I would pray. And this was me as a young boy, but coming into the ministry, this is what going on 2 years now that myself and my brother Rawai has been in the ministry, and just speaking about my, purpose, having purpose. I'll just give a little bit more of a testimony as far as coming into the ministry. My brother Rawai, we was, over the years after hearing about this truth, we was, me and my brother, man, we was, learning from different camps. Again, my brother first came across Comfy and ICGJC, and, we learned a little bit from them over the time, but then found that they was wicked and going off. So, we was transitioning and finding that we came across the Bach and IUIC, and, even with that, we used to watch videos with them. I used to even go down to Zabak's camp and stand with him. I think it was Friday nights after work. I used to work in Queens, and right after that, I would just take the train down to 34th, where he was, and I used to stand and watch him. And I was doing this for months, and that would, that was a part of it as well. But then over the years, myself and my brother Rawai, we was just trying to figure it out. We was trying to figure it out, trying to learn a little bit, we was keeping the Friday night to Saturday night Sabbath, but was lukewarm, to be honest with you. But you know how, when you first coming in, I would take a lot of notes and stuff like that, and I was learning a lot. I had a lot of notes, but I was just trying to find my way, and just and then we came across Great Millstone. And once we came across Great Millstone, one of the things that I noticed learning from these other teachers, whether it was Sabak and HOI, or whether it was IUIC, it always felt like there was a ceiling when it came to learning. Right? It was a ceiling. It was like, all right, cool. It wasn't very spiritual learning from the men. It was just very, very, I know, it just felt like information. And it felt like anything spiritual. And I'm referencing that against what I came across and how we learned from Great Millstone. And it was just very different. There's a very different spirit to it. And I'm not just saying that just because I'm in the camp now. This is just the truth. You know what I'm saying? And coming across, Great Millstone, after we started to learn from Great Millstone, it was a very different spirit about it. It's a very different feeling to it. And over the course of time, watching videos here and there, my brother and I think we was at my house, and we was watching a fight, I believe. And right before my brother left, I kind of came with him downstairs, and then we sat in the car, and we was talking about, we was just talking about the truth. And I said to him, look, man, hey, Great Millstone got the truth. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, Great Millstone got the truth. We got to put away everything, following it. If we all these teachers from these other camps and all this, that, and the third, we got to put all that on the side, and we got to focus, and we got to get with Great Millstone, and we got to focus on those teachers and how those men are moving, because that's where the spirit is. You know what I'm saying? And he agreed, and we never looked back, So, we still learning, watching videos. We would even, like, on the Sabbath, we would come to my house, myself, my brother Rawai, and two other brothers. We would come on every Sabbath, come to my crib, and we would just be in the scriptures, and we would just chop it up and just fellowship in the scriptures. That's what we was doing, coming to the crib. And then we transitioned. Once COVID hit, we transitioned to like a phone call every Sabbath. We'd be on a phone call for a conference call for about 2.5 hours, 3 hours, sometimes even more. You know what I'm saying? And then fast forward, we would always, myself and my brother, we would always hear brothers and elders and apostles always say, man, if you are able-bodied man, you got to get out here on the highways and the byways. And that's something that myself and my brother struggle with. And we would always say, man, we got to get out there. We got to get out there. We got to get out there. And then it came to the point where I was going out, and I was going out to the 34th and 7th camp, every other week. I would come by, listen to the elders and apostles, and I would just stand, on the other side and this, that, and the third until until the camp moved. And once the camp moved, I couldn't find them anymore. You know what I mean? So that was that. And then, it was some years after that we didn't know where they were. You know what I mean? So we was still dealing with that anxiety and that struggle of, damn, we got to get on the highways and the byways. We able-bodied men, and the Lord, we falling short, man. We falling short by not being out on the battlefield, by not presenting our bodies as living sacrifice. We just watching brothers preach from the comfort of our home and getting lessons and getting breakdowns. When we able-bodied men, we should be able to go out and do this work too. And that's something that we would talk about all the time. And it was a struggle. And I know for me, during the whole time, I had dreadlocks, whatever you want to call them, long hair. And we know the teachings of Great Millstone, they don't play that. The elders and the apostles and brothers, they don't play that shit. You can't come around with that long hair. You're not going to be a part of the body, a part of the ministry with long hair. So fast forward, my brother, he was at work one day, in the city. He was driving. He was in the city, and he actually drove by the camp. He found the brothers, and he's still out there the whole time. stood out with the brothers. Then he hit the group chat that I was in, that we were in with some other brothers. He was like, yo, brothers, I found the brothers, I found the apostles, I found a camp, I know where they at. Bum, 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 bum. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third. So, those, we was excited, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, yo, I'm going back out there next week. Y'all brothers gonna come, y'all do what y'all want to do, but I'm going back out. You know what I'm saying? So he went back out the next week. I didn't go that following week, but then the week after I went with him and been there every week since, and even while I was going out there, we was going out there, I still had the dreads, I still had the locks, but it was wintertime and you couldn't really tell, if, the elders and the apostles, and the brothers, they really couldn't tell because I had, it was cold, brothers having scarves and hats and all kind of stuff. And I ain't even gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest, to a degree, I would always try to hide them because I knew it was, I shouldn't have had them. I was struggling, it was a struggle of mine. When it came to, the whole hair thing, I just, it was a struggle with me cutting them. I couldn't really bring myself to do it for whatever reason, But again, it was a struggle that I was dealing with for years. When I first heard about the truth, I always knew with the apostles. Once I started hearing the great Millstone, it was some years that I was like, damn, man, I got to cut this hair, man. You know what I mean? And it was a real, true struggle for me. And I just got to be honest, So while we was going up to the camp, we started going up to the camp in late October, right? I believe of 2022, Slovakia. We started going up to the camp in October, late October 2022. And every week we was there, going amongst the apostles. The apostles started getting familiar with our faces. The brothers that we camped with, the elder brother Ahmawan Gabar, Yahawashi, Gabar Ba, Corner Waf, them brothers was seeing us, every week. We was diligent every week. We didn't miss no weeks from October until the following April, which is about 7, 8 months or whatever. Every week we was out there, and every week we was coming. With our Bibles, taking notes, this, that, and the third. Listen, standing with the brothers, basically the whole time that they was out there. And again, it was the struggle because, I had the dreads, and it was just like, damn, I couldn't get over it. I couldn't bring myself to cut them. And what happened was, and I'll never forget this because the way it happened is just very spiritual, and it goes to Elder Apostle Gabar's question: do you know why you're in this and your purpose? Because it's about purpose. One of the things that popped into my head when he posed into when I meditated on the question, not at the time. One of the things that popped into my head was purpose. Finding your purpose in this ministry and this truth. So, we was out there, going out in the highways and the byways with the church, with the brothers, with the apostles. And then it was March 31st, 2023. March 31st, 2023. I went home and it was on my spirit. And I just went in the drawer. I grabbed the scissors. I told my lady, I said, yo, come here. And she was like, what's up? Why you got those scissors in your hand? I was like, yo, I need you to cut these. She was like, you serious? I was like, now she didn't know that it was a spiritual thing for me. I've been telling her for a long time that I'm about to cut my hair, She was like, all right, you keep saying that shit, but you ain't gonna do it. So she wasn't taking me serious. So she was like, you serious? I'm like, yeah. Just leave the new growth and cut the locks. She's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. Like, just do it. I told you to do it. Just do it. And she cut him. You know what I'm saying? And she cut him. And when she cut him, I felt free. I felt free. I I felt good about it. It was liberating. And it was a weight off my shoulders. It was a weight off my shoulders. Now, remind you, this was March 31st, 2023. It was a Friday night. Now, you know that the Great Millstone New York City camps on Saturday afternoon. Mind you, I cut my hair the night of March 31st, so the night before camp, the night before we about to go back out and stand on the other side like we was doing. I cut my hair. So I cut my hair, went to bed, woke up the next morning, got prepared to go to camp, to stand on the other side. We walk up to camp, and Elder Apostle Tahar, as we was walking up to the camp, before we could even really salute them, he said to myself and my brother Rawah, he said, this is what we gonna do. Now, Apostle Tahar had no idea that I had locks. He had no idea that I had locks. He had no idea that I cut them. Nothing. As we was walking up to the camp, Elder Apostle Tahar stopped us. He said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do something different this week. He said, I want you to go to those brothers, right? The brothers that we've been going, basically standing with. He said, I want you to go with those brothers, and I want you to start reading for them. Okay? I want you to start reading for them. He said, it's time for y'all to do the work. Right? Now, this is the very day after I cut my locks. Now, remember, this is the anxieties that I was having, that I need to do the work. I need to be in the camp. I need to do all of these anxieties, all these issues, all of this pressure, and all of this struggle that I had with cutting my hair. And it's I'm talking about as soon as I cut my hair, I'm talking about hours after I cut my hair, the Lord used Elder Apostle Tahar to bring myself and my brother into the ministry. He told us to go read for the brothers. And then Elder Apostle Gabar, Elder Apostle Ramlab said, like jokingly, he was like, welcome, welcome, welcome. You know what I mean? Like, it was like a funny kind of thing. But, it was so very spiritual. I was actually very emotional about it because, and I was emotional after camp, not in the moment, because in the moment I was just like shocked. I was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, but we, you kind of meditate on these things. So I was shocked. So we went over, told the brothers. We saluted the brothers. Ahmawan Gabar, Yahsharalah, the elder brother Ahmawan Gabar, Yahsharalah, that elder brother Gabar Ba Kwanawah. We went over like we've been doing. Spoke to them brothers. We saluted them brothers. They asked how we was doing. And then my brother Y said, yeah, man, we just came from the Elder Apostle Tahar. He told us to come read for y'all. And they was like, word? They was like, word? We was like, yeah. He was like, well, hey, grab your sword. You know what I'm saying? And, so we stood on the other side that day, that same day. But then the next week, we came and those brothers put us in the camp. They put us in the camp, man. They put us in the camp, and, it's been, the rest is history. You know what I'm saying? We still in the camp. The Lord has allowed us to endure, to do the work, and to grow in this thing and to learn. So I say all of that as a testimony to my purpose. Okay. And a lot of times when I speak, I feel like I'm speaking for my brother as well. My brother for why? Because, we came up in this truth together. We shared a lot together. We've been through a lot before learning this truth. We've been through it a lot together with my family and all of that stuff. So, this is, when I speak about coming into this truth, I feel like I'm speaking for him as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, and even in this truth, while being in this truth, we actually lost our younger brother, who the Lord sent back up to the spirit world, And this was about a year after being in the faith, because he's been gone for about a year. Actually, in a couple days, it'll be a year since he's been back in the spirit world. So it's all very spiritual. Speaking on finding your purpose and understanding why you're really in this. That brings a lot of clarity for me with the type of question that Elder Apostle Gabar posed. And Lord willing, I'm a part of the elect, because that was something very spiritual. But at the end of the day, it's about enduring, right? It's about enduring, and it's about begging the Lord as much as possible to be with us and allow us to fight to the end. So really quick, let me get Ephesians, and I didn't mean to be long-winded, but it's just a testimony and concerning Elder Apostle Gabar's question, and just searching for truth and finding your answers, finding your purpose. And I believe I found my purpose, with coming into the body. So this is the book of Ephesians, chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 3. It says, "Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Yahawashi HaMashiach, who blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Hamashiach, according as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world." So this is predestination. We've all been pressing. Those of us who are in this faith and this truth and in the ministry and serving the Lord, it's all predestination from the foundation of the earth. All right. It says that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. And the Lord don't make no mistakes, and with the testimony I just gave, that's what I feel like. I feel like the Lord don't make no mistakes. He brought me in when I was ready. He brought me into the ministry when I was ready. Not when I think I was ready, but when the Lord found it right for me and my brother to come in, that's when he did it. And all of those anxieties that we had, and those struggles and those pressures and the feeling about, damn, he not doing things right, the Lord may not be with us. Like, you think of so many things, but the Lord brought us in when he was ready for us to bring us in. Okay. All right. It says, verse 5, having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Yahawashi HaMashiach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. Right. We've been predestinated to be adopted back, adopted into the faith, through the blood of Yahawashi's sacrifice, man. And it's about Yahawashi, because that predestination, it was predestined that Yahawashi would give that sacrifice for us to be able to come in, for us to be able to, be risen up in these last days and receive the breath of life. These dry bones coming together, this ministry being raised up. It's all through predestination, man. It says, having predestinated us into the adoption of children by Yahawashi HaMashiach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will, to the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he hath made us accepted in the beloved. So real quick, let me read verse 7. In whom we have redemption through his blood. And that's what I mentioned a few minutes ago, being redeemed by the blood of Yahawashi. It was all predestined. It was all written for it to happen this way, right? The forgiveness of sin according to the riches of his grace. And the Lord's grace has been sufficient unto us, man. So, being called into this ministry is no light thing. And, you want to take it serious. I was just listening to Elder Yahsharalah, and that brother, the elder brother, always, gets me in the spirit, man. There's always some really good points that he brings out that really resonates and that we meditating on. So, this ain't no laughing matter. This ain't no joke. You see what's happening in Israel with men falling out and men, with the nastiness going on and just the, it's just the filth that's going on. But the Lord is exposing men. The Lord is exposing false prophets, making them ashamed and humiliation before the world, which they deserve, because they don't serve them. They don't serve Yahawashi. They serve their own bellies, and I don't even want to get into all of that, because the elders and the apostles, the brothers, are chopping it up. All right. Let me get this last one, and I'm going to close it out. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 22, and verse 14. And it reads, "For many are called, but few are chosen." Simply put, right? Simple and plain. Many are called, but few are chosen. That's why it's about enduring, right? It's about enduring, because just because you are called doesn't mean you are delivered or saved or part of Yahawah's elect. Okay? It's about enduring to the end. Matthew 24:13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So we got work to do. Regardless of what's going on with other camps and other men, we still got work to do. All right? This thing keeps moving along. The Lord going to take care of any false prophets, any insincere BS that's going on amongst Israel. The Lord going to take care of it. The Lord going to start judging. The elders and apostles always said, just watch. The Lord going to start breaking up these camps, start judging these men, and look what's happening. You know, that's how we know we are amongst the true men of the Lord. Because all you got to do is wait for it. All right? And the Lord is doing what he said he would do. All right? But there's more work to do. At some point, we're going to suffer persecution for being Israel and proclaiming the names of Yahweh and chanting down Babylon. But that's all a part of it. We got to count the cost, right? That's what it means to be a part of this ministry. You know, you got to understand what you're a part of. Like the elder apostle always said, you got to understand what you are a part of. All right? And be willing to give your life for this. Because that's what it comes down to. I'm willing to die for Yahweh, period. All right? Because we know Yahawashi already conquered death. So death ain't even really death, man. And you can have this body waiting for the new ones, man. All right, so with that, I'm going to leave it there. As always, I hope you were edified. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, the elder bishops, the great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.